Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. If you're not too far from the main stage, please join us as we will start our next discussion on how to launch a new business, essential strategies to stay afloat. And we have a great lineup of speakers. Please join us in welcoming our three highly accomplished speakers who have navigated these challenges with great success. And they're here to help us understand how they did it. So with us, we have Rakan Al-Orafi, Ger Skyer, I hope I'm pronouncing well, and Philippe Tessier. Please join us. Come on, guys. Make some noise in the room. Come on, guys. Join us here. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you all three of you for joining. I mean, I am impressed. I don't have the right outfit though, right? I feel like, you know, being like very odd. Like, no, it's great. It's great to have all of you. Maybe a brief introduction. So Rakan, you're the chef founder of Kid Catering, and Kububa, you will explain that later. And Ger, Bocuse d'Or 2009 winner and founder of several F&B projects in Norway, and Philippe Tessier, chef partner press restaurant also, Bocuse d'Argent 2015. It's really intimidating, actually. It's great to have you. The conversation around how to keep the business afloat, but also given your success, how you managed to do it, would be interesting in some ways to look at what were, for example, the challenges, the initial challenges that you faced. Maybe Rakan, I will start with you. When you started Kid Catering, what were the challenges? How did you overcome those challenges? Maybe tell us a little bit about that. It will work. It will work. They will open it? No? Try this one? Yes, it's working.
Hello. I have a very deep voice, so I have to take it easy, right?
No, it's okay. It's
All
okay.
right.
You can speak loud so that we can bring more people
Oh
here
yeah,
in the room.
please everyone come to the main stage.
Yes.
Now I'm taking your place. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, chefs, to have you in Saudi Arabia. I hope you're enjoying Riyadh. Actually, when I started Kid Catering, it came by after a long period or a long time. I was working in 5-star hotel, 4-star hotel, restaurants, casual, fine dining. So I was thinking that it's the time to start my business now, and I was thinking to start catering business because after long time working in fine dining or a la carte, it's very hard to continue for us, especially in the Saudi culture. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't see the chef. Hi, he taking his yeah, especially in the Saudi culture, because the long time of working at the weekend, working at the holidays. So I thought about opening a catering business. It will give me a little bit more social life, and at the same time, the restaurant businesses, it was booming in Saudi, and the catering, it was stable. Mm-hmm. So it was the best thing that I did. Right. I started the catering business.
That's
very
interesting.
Yeah. After that, I get a couple of requests to be a partner or a chef in restaurants, but I think it's not for me right now. Maybe in future. Yeah.
I'll get back to that. What about your social lives? Do you have a social life?
Yeah, I have a big social life. Yeah, actually.
All right. Maybe you were competing in very high level culinary competitions. So how do you transition from that to managing restaurants?
Oh, it's kind of similar, because when you go to a competition, it's almost like starting your own restaurant, because you need first you need money to be able to do the training and to build up a kitchen. You build up we competed, it was a replica of the kitchen that you have in the competition. You need the staff, because you need people to help you. So it's quite similar, and you need to do promotion to get people to know about it. So it's actually a lot of the same things that you do with the competition that you do in a restaurant. But the restaurant lasts for longer. Competition is just one day, then it's over. So that's yeah.
And you work a lot.
Yeah, you work a lot with the competition, but you also work a lot with
the restaurants, right? And Philip, winning the Bocuse d'Or, how did it really impact your career and your approach to? You already have a restaurant which is really famous, so did it help to revitalize or reboost what you were already doing? What did it bring to you?
Yeah, I think the Bocuse d'Or in the U.S. was very unknown. It's still making its way in the U.S. in terms of
And you're the
its
first
knowledge.
ever American
Yes.
chef to ever, must admit,
So,
yes.
when we first won, everyone was like, where did this come from? How did we do this? And so it took really I'd say 4 to 6 years. We won gold the following year. And so there's been a really great sort of long tail, I think, to what we did back in 2015. So, certainly now having a restaurant, my own space to really expand on, who I am and what we do and our style of cuisine, it really helps, not so much perhaps in the bigger public, but certainly when it comes to our team and the culinary staff who want to come and be in this kind of environment where they're going to learn this type of discipline and this type of technique. So we have a really great ability to attract talent and great people.
Oh, brilliant. And maybe, you speaking about day-to-day managing operations when you come to restaurants, how do you still ensure the high quality standards and doing the day-to-day? I mean, you said it's lots of work. I mean, how do you manage to balance that?
No, actually, I don't work that much in the restaurant. So I have a
That's the secret.
really good chefs that
Smart.
work for us and good managers. That helps a lot. So that's more like giving them the tools to be able to do their job and managing so it's easy for them to do their job. That's the main thing that I do.
But you set the direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
And set the IDs and help them if they have problems and motivation and So that's the main thing that I do for the restaurant now.
Brilliant. And Rakan, your experience in California, I mean, how did it shape your approach in opening and running your ventures in Saudi?
Well, yeah. Actually, when I did my bachelor degree first here in Riyadh, I was a marketeer. After that, I started my small restaurant in Riyadh with no experience in culinary or in the kitchen. So after a year, we shut down the restaurant because we don't have any experience about it. Yeah. So I traveled to California to do my master degree. After the first semester, I said, this is not for me. I'm going to switch my career. I will be a chef. Yeah. Then I did the school there and a culinary school. I started as in Japanese cuisine as a sushi chef. So I stayed in California for around 2 years. Then after that I came back to Saudi. When I came back in end of 2014, there was a few chefs, Saudi chefs here. So I started as a commis in a Japanese restaurant, and we take it from there.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well done. It's been a
Thank
journey. Amazing. Philip, when I knew that I was going to be here with you, and I was like, I'm curious to know what's behind, when you have a restaurant earning a Michelin star. It's fantastic, by the way, congratulations. But what were the key factors that led your restaurant to earning the Michelin star?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, first of all, I took over a restaurant that had been there for 15 years, and I was supposed to be a consultant for 4 months. It's been 5.5 years now, so obviously that story changed. But, taking a restaurant that was initially a steakhouse and was struggling, as a 7 chef in 2 years they tried to bring in, so it was a big evolution. But really it just comes down to the people and to the vision that we had and being patient for that. So we talk about a patient ambition and the ability to understand what the goal is, what the vision is, but to evolve at a cadence and a pace that allows the change that we make to be sustainable. You know, there's a lot of restaurants that come and go, that people get very excited about, and then 3 years later, there's like, where is this place? You know, and so for us, it was about making change systemically, and then the staff and the team, people who were passionate and had the same goal and same vision as us. So we have a very strong team culture, something we take a lot from Bocuse d'Or, and the intensity of focus, and you know, making sure that everyone is like-minded. So it's really a lot of these things, and then obviously the layers of cuisine and service and hospitality that come along with those.
Brilliant. There were, yeah, maybe any lessons learned from your, Bocuse d'Or experience? Did it help you in any way, impact your work, how you applied it in your restaurant, in your business today?
No.
No, not really. That's a very concise answer. I love when people are being concise.
No, it's maybe about like to be consistent and to be like very into all details. It's very
because
important.
it's a strict discipline.
Yeah.
Also, you don't
Yeah.
get there by chance. You get there because you.
No, but what I see is that it's many restaurateurs that are not into details, and then you get into a lot of trouble as well. Because
Yeah.
if you don't follow rules and you don't take care of your staff and customers and all of these things, you will fail. It's like Philip say, if it's many restaurants that stay for a short time because they are just in there to get out most money or to show something, and then they don't last. So I think
Right.
being into all the details about restaurant business and trying always to refine all the processes, all the routines, all the structure. I think that's a very important part. So never stop. And that's the same for the competition part. When you compete, you can't stop. You always have to try to be better all the way until the competition day. I feel I've been helping many people for competitions, and I see someone, they feel, okay, now I have what I want, and then they just do that for 3 months. And then when they come to the competition, they are kind of, they have no feeling for what they do. And that's the same in restaurants, I think. You have to always try to be better and evolve.
Does this resonate to both of you, Philippe, Rakan, what Gaz is saying here? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And maybe from, the Saudi perspective, it's also interesting to understand what could be, you could share with us the challenges of developing a contemporary Saudi menu, given the strong culture, the traditions, and also being relevant, having a restaurant that is afloat, and like what you were saying earlier.
Right. If we are talking about the Saudi cuisine itself, I think we have like since 2018, when the Ministry of Culture started in Saudi, and the Culinary Art Commission started as well. All the Saudi chefs, they have a full support and doing their own restaurants. And if you're gonna do traditional or fusion or contemporary, you can do whatever you want. But in the same time, the big picture was not there. So I think there is a new wave now that to use the local produce more. It's more important than focusing on the Saudi cuisine. Saudi cuisine, we everyone know it in Saudi, and we eat it every day at our houses. But the local produce, it's not take the it part and actually our and the chef when for example, I'll give you an example to make it easy. When the chef starts to write a menu, first of all he have to check what's the season now, or he have to check with the farmer what he can use, something local, more fresh, and cost-wise is good. So I think that the new wave is to focus on the local produce.
And more sustainable practices.
Of course, for sure, 100%.
And there's this balancing innovation and maintaining like high standards, culinary standards in the menus. I mean, sometimes when you're working in a region where there's a strong tradition, strong culture. I don't know how it is in Napa Valley, but
Yeah, we don't have very many traditions in America when it comes to food.
there's good wine though.
It's a good thing sometimes, yes.
Right. Is it tough to be innovative at the same time and maintain very high standards? How to be creative, be innovative, and being successful in the business?
Yeah, I mean, I think the important thing for us, and my philosophy as well with Boku Story and the restaurant is, despite some of the things that we can do, doesn't mean we always should, and also, making sure that at the core of thing, we're here to nurture people, we're here to feed people, and to make sure that what we do is delicious. So sometimes we get carried away with how beautiful something can be and how we can make it, but if it's losing its soul of what it is,
Right.
Then this
So
is
usually you have someone who brings you back on track when
usually
you're
that's me.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
you.
that's my
Because
job.
when you get too creative at one point, and then you're like, it's like my husband telling me, "This is not gonna work." I'm like, why?
Yeah, so it's we also try to make sure we don't get caught up in the trends, which is like the new exciting thing and is here today and is gone tomorrow. So, I have 3 kids, and the amount of different toys that were the hot thing for 2 years, and then you don't even remember them. So, we really harken back to tradition, whether that's from our culture, French culture, Japanese culture, and the history of food, which is there for a reason. So. Those things keep us on track, as well as setting a new direction for ourselves.
In the previous panel, I was having this conversation with one of the chefs who was speaking about fusion food, and she has a very strong presence on social media, and was telling me how this is completely influencing the way we'll look at cooking and doing high standard cooking today. And what about you guys? I mean, you are champions, no need to say, but does this have an impact on your work? Do you look at it? Do you, are you interested in what's going on in those different media to adjust, adapt your, all 3 of you? Maybe Gare, you can start.
But of course, it's that's what's good with cooking and the food. It's changing all the time. People are changing. People travel more, and you get new inspiration from all over the world. And that's really the fun part of it. And the Instagram and Snapchat and all of this, that helps to see what other chefs are doing.
It's part of the business equation
Yeah.
in a way.
But it also makes maybe the food scene more like common all over the world. Like it's everything in the end ends up quite similar wherever you are in some restaurants. So that's it's a nice balance to keep. So not everything gets similar. The
And-
design
and-
and everything.
And in the US, no need to say, they are very, very
Yeah,
active.
we're very adaptive to all cultures. Yeah, and I think I worked in France for a period of time, and sometimes it felt like the tradition was what kept everything at such a high quality, but it also was the same thing that kept it from being from evolving and being innovative. So, in the U.S. we have a very fine line between fusion cuisine and confusion cuisine. It can be quite terrible. So, our goal for what we do is to adopt, whether it's flavors or techniques from anywhere in the world. We have a very diverse staff, and it's always exciting to learn new techniques. I don't want to stop learning where I am. So, but we do make sure that everything follows this, sort of the experience in what we do, and it doesn't feel like you're going from one country to another through our menu.
And Rakam, what about in Saudi? How is it? I mean, the influence of social media on what you're doing at your level. I mean, do you see like some kind of influence on your work?
Well, yes, I think social media and the media in general is very important with our career. Actually, since I started, I have a passion about media, and I have a passion about cooking at the same time. So in 2016, I did the Top Chef of Middle East season 2. After that, I thought it's a good chance to promote myself as a chef and the social media, all social media platforms. However, I'm focusing more on my career because you cannot take it both together. You have to focus on one side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm focusing more on my career, but at the same time, I'm giving some time for my social media platforms, and on TV as well. I did a couple of TV shows, cooking shows. The last in 2021 I said this will be the last TV show because it's get bored. For 45 minutes you cook a recipe and you just talk. For me, it's not for me. I said this is the last TV show. I will not film any TV show again. After that, I get.
But what about the audience? The audience are also influenced by.
But it's the same thing. Social media now, it's more easy. You in 1 minute or 2 minutes you can learn a new technique, or you can enjoy a recipe, but for 45 minutes no one has the 45 minutes now, right? Yeah. So for me, I said this will be my last TV show, but last year we have a very famous platform that's similar to Netflix. I get an offer to film something. It's about traveling and cooking the same time. So I'll get out of the studio.
Yeah.
I will film outdoor.
That's nice.
This is the most important thing for me, to do something new. So the concept was to go to a farm, talk with a farmer, and take the produce, go back to the kitchen and cook the recipe.
That's beautiful.
So it was perfect.
It's like you connect all the value chains at the same time and
exactly,
show the people behind.
Exactly. Yeah.
So were there any strategies, I mean, for all three of you, that have been like most effective in building who you are, your reputation and your customer base, and create loyalty? Any specific effective strategies? Now we're speaking business, purely business. What can you say about how you did it from your different perspective, Philip?
I think the most important thing is to have a great product. I think everybody gets so caught up in the PR and social media, and all those things are important, and we invest in those. But at the end of the day, you have to have an amazing
It's what
product.
you're selling.
And so for us, it's making sure that our food is absolutely delicious, and we put a lot of emphasis on hospitality in the dining room. So, half of what we do every day is service. And a lot of people focus on the chefs or just, what we do from the cuisine side. But I think we've all been to restaurants where the service is quite terrible, and we probably wouldn't go back there even if the food was good, And so for us, it's a lot of emphasis is put on the dining room team, the staff, the training, the experience. In today's world, it's more about, especially at our level, when you get to fine dining, it's more about an experience and that journey with us. And so we put a lot of thoughtfulness into that. So for me, we start with a great product, and then we build from there.
Oh, fantastic! Thank you, Philip. And that resonates.
That says a lot. That's like almost the same that I would say. But also one thing is that that I learned the bad way. But when I was younger and I started the restaurant, I was so involved that I wanted everything that I did was correct. And when the customer complained, I knew that I put so much into this that, for example, some customer can complain about the chairs. It's a wrong color, or the seating is not good, or the flowers you have over there are not good. And then that kind of hurt because we thought about everything. And then I started to argue with the customers. And that's like learning. You learn it in chef school as well. The customer is always right. And that's what I learned from those first years.
That's
the
maturity.
The customer is always right, and that's I think that's a very important part. You have to swallow some, like we say in Norway, swallow some camels.
We're in the right country to use that expression. Fantastic.
So that's an important thing for young chefs or people that want to open restaurants to learn from the start.
Right.
It will help a lot.
And Rakan, would you agree? And are there any other efficient strategies that you've put in place to be successful?
Yeah, I totally agree with the chefs. At the same time, I want to add something that when when we create a menu, for example, it's very important to have a story behind the menu. We do a lot of gala dinners and something like that. So maybe in the restaurant business it's different because you change the menu every 3 months or something like that. But for us as a caterer, and 1 week I do 3 menus, 4 menus. So it's very important is not copying each menu, and you have a storytelling. So you give the full experience, and the guests will gonna enjoy it with the theme, with the food, with everything.
Oh, that's brilliant. Couple of minutes, guys. Maybe what advice would you give to aspiring, restaurateurs or people wanting to launch themselves in this business to navigate the challenges of opening and running a new restaurant? I mean, you guys are doing this very successfully. And what would be your advice to those who want to dive into this crazy universe? Because
do something else.
because for me,
It's not that bad, Garrett.
it's not that bad, right? Because I have a couple of friends running restaurants in Paris because I live in Paris, and when I go to eat a meal in their restaurants, I'm always very well received, super happy, having a very good mood. And then when I look at them, I'm like, are you guys happy? I mean, it's so much work. It's crazy world, huh? And people are becoming more and more demanding with this is why I was talking about social media, and they see a lot of things. They expect a lot more than they used to expect before, even for you, given the standards of your restaurants. I mean, it's a crazy world.
Yeah, I tell people, I'm like, this is probably the worst business to be in if you don't absolutely love what you do.
Passion.
It's passion, but I think, I've been around for a while now in this business, and I think for me, step one is to learn from the best. Get that training and learning before you open your first restaurant, and build that experience and that depth of knowledge. And then secondly is having the ability to train others and teach others. Like Garrett was saying earlier, you have to be able to delegate and give other responsibility. This is why you see so much burnout. Everything's so personal, and we're so passionate that I have to do it all, or I have to be there every night. So that's something that I'm learning to do better, and it's the only way to grow. Otherwise, you're always married to the stove. And I always tell people, like, I'm here because I want to be, but I don't want to be here because I have to be. And so learning how to do everything it takes in the beginning, set the standard, both for the quality of the product and for the ethic of how we work, but then being able to teach that, delegate that, and trust others. It's difficult. We always feel like it's going to be better if we're there, but understanding that you're also sometimes standing in the way of growth if you're always there all the time. So for me, that's the balance I have. I have 3 kids. I'm actually off Saturday, Sunday. So, I've built my team around, my own personal goals in life as well. So it's finding the balance between pursuing the passion I have, but also making it sustainable in terms of my lifestyle and what I want to do.
This is exactly what you were saying earlier.
Yeah, that's important.
Right.
And
So for those who want to jump into this crazy universe, you say choose something else.
No, but it's many that starts restaurants that has it like it's a romantic dream. So like open a small restaurant, do this, and it's talk with customers, make some food. It's not that easy. It's a profession. You need to be deeply into it, and you need to know that it's a lot of hard work. And that you do it correct, because it's too many, or it has at least been in Europe and Norway, that people start restaurants and think it's easy and don't follow rules, and then it gives the whole profession and the whole being chefs and waiters bad reputation.
Right.
So it's important that you do it correct and
Very
you follow
true.
everything. That's
True. And Rakan from.
Yeah, I think for myself, I do have an unsuccessful story, and after 14 years, I do have a good business. So I can see the difference. And this 14 years, I worked in international companies. I followed very high standard. I know the difference between you want to open a restaurant without an experience, or you follow international standard. So it's very important to have a good working years of experience. After that, follow your passion and do your own business.
Because being creative and successful on one side, but also the business aspect on the other side. The secret recipe, which is not a secret because you already said it, is having a team, a good team also behind to support you so that you can also have a life, which is great. But well done. Very impressed by your careers. And Philippe, maybe with one final thing. Where does your French roots come from? Because Philippe Tessier, this is not very...
Yeah, yeah, my grandparents were from Quebec, so Quebecois back in the day. Actually, my grandparents spoke French mostly, but yeah, they're traced it back to. There's actually a Philippe Tessier winery in Loire Valley, so I get tagged on Instagram all the time. So
with the wrong Philippe Tessier.
Correct,
So.
but the wine's pretty good. So
It's still good
It works out,
advertising. Yeah,
yeah.
fantastic. Thank you very much. Huge round of applause to our brilliant chefs. Thank you very much. It was very nice having this conversation. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. So much for them. Thank you.